For CBD and THC, what about drug interactions with things like antidepressants or coagulants or the many drugs that we all take? That's a great question, and luckily a paper just came out this week. I'm Lex Pelger. I do canna education for CV Sciences, the makers of Plus CBD, who has excellent THC and CBD products and is happy to share all of the real data on what happens with them. Here is a review paper that I'm going to highlight this week in my newsletter, Cannabinoids and the People, a science newsletter also sponsored by CV Sciences. And I really like this review paper because it says things very simply. Apparently the rest of it is still behind an embargo, but the English version should be out there soon. What's really great about this paper is that it gives actionable clinical information. I have so many review papers in my liver file where they say, here are 50 different drugs that THC and CBD might interact with, but there's no reports of them ever interacting. And so here they say, basically, if you're taking less than 30 milligrams of THC per day or 300 milligrams of CBD per day, they're just not worried about drug interactions. And I've heard that from other doctors as well. I think those are pretty good, reasonable numbers. Except for warfarin. Apparently, warfarin interacts with everything, according to the doctors I know, and THC and CBD are included. So, as far as case reports go about drug interactions, there are a couple where people had to dial down their warfarin dosage by a third or so because of the CBD or THC that they were taking. But while we're here, let's talk about some of the other case reports that I know. There's one case report where the cannabis might have been making someone's lithium a little bit more strong. There's another one in a breast cancer patient where tamoxifen, the chemotherapy drug, might have been somewhat less strong because of CBD. And in regards to your question, there is one case report of adolescents who are taking escitalopram and sertraline, and it seemed to have made them a little bit stronger. Again, these are never gigantic differences, but it could be worth having your doctor monitor your blood levels of these to see if they're having an effect. Lastly, there is one case report from about 25 years ago for amitriptyline, the tricyclic antidepressant, and cannabis perhaps making that one stronger. But that's it. That's all the case reports I have in my files for drug interactions, which is not much for as much money is spent looking for harms from the cannabinoids. I do have a ton of data on how they interact with the CYP family of isozymes. Those are the liver enzymes that are there to either activate drugs coming into your system or clear out old drugs from your system. And they're really important. As you can see, if you inhibit your CYP3A4 with certain drugs or grapefruit juice, you're going to up your levels of THC and make it work stronger. So there's a lot of theory what's going on. I'd be happy to send my files about the liver to anyone, lex@whitewhalecreations.com. But overall, if you're using moderate levels of CBD-rich hemp extracts or cannabis, you don't seem to be at much risk for drug interactions, except for warfarin.